Gabby Thomas receives epic rose from Olympic legend. Rose flexed biceps shocking controversy and the future of track and field exposed. Doping coaches should be banned for life. From coaching in the sport. Whether you were banned while competing as an athlete or caught distributing as a coach for some both. IDC, declared Gabby Thomas on her social media earlier this month, expressing her frustration with USADA and its disappointing approach to her case in 2020. 5 years ago, she faced a provisional suspension for allegedly missing 3 anti-doping tests in a year, though the suspension ban was lifted later after she submitted evidence. Thomas continued to urge USADA to focus strictly on eliminating those who resort to illicit practices. And, guess what? She's finally found some strong support for her call this time. Thomas further explained that athletes should never train under coaches who have a history of doping. The 28-year-old believes that the sport should be pursued with honesty and integrity, as some athletes and coaches don't follow this principle and they often care about his performance and fame. Now the question arises, if an athlete tests positive for a banned substance, should their coach be punished alongside the athlete? When the exact question was asked to Nigerian American triple jumper and Olympian Aliedo Lamagok, he fully agreed with Thomas and responded, "I'm inclined to agree." He acknowledged that athletes bear the primary responsibility if they test positive for a banned substance, but stressed that coaches should not be given a free pass. If you are a coach, and the coach-athlete relationship is such an intimate situation, of course, we as athletes are responsible. We need to be responsible for what goes into our body, what we're eating, and all these different things, but especially when you have younger and impressionable athletes. I will say this, impressionability goes beyond age. You don't have to be young to be impressionable. He further added, if you have a lot of people who are impressionable and trust their coaches, and that coach then turns right around and manipulates the situation so that they can get their own shine on the back of the athletes. I have seen it happen close to me. I wholeheartedly agree. I believe if you are a coach proliferating, that then you should get punished too. Gabby Thomas and now Aliedo Lamagok believe that USADA needs to reform its policies for the betterment of the sport. This is not the first time the 5-time Olympic medalist has raised her voice for better treatment of athletes. In fact, as a vocal critic of the visibility and marketability of track and field in America, Thomas joined forces with Reddit founder Alexis Ahane to establish a platform with a vision of bringing resources for advancing women's track. Gabby Thomas has been a big contributor to women-centric sports. Last year, Gabby Thomas and Alexis Ahane unveiled the 776 Invitational, a groundbreaking women-only track event. Speaking at the Business of Women's Sports Conference in New York City, they announced plans for the competition, which offers the largest ever prize purse for a women's sporting event, $60,000 for first place, $25,000 for second, and $10,000 for third. According to Sportico, Thomas believes women have long been sidelined in sports, but with events like this, that is finally changing. She has long been a supporter of women in the sport and has been investing in it alongside Ian. Apart from her career as a sprinter, Thomas is also a clinic specialist. While talking to the Vogue, she stated, "I am a director of the Hypertension Prevention Program. We have a panel of patients who are pre-diabetic or hypertensive, and we monitor them closely and make sure that they're getting all the medication and appointments they need and communicating about their current lifestyle and any problems." She further added, "It's about maintaining a close relationship that transcends in some ways the traditional patient-doctor relationship. So that's what I do. I work with and train the volunteers, and we keep the program running, whether in sports or her personal life." Gabby Thomas has always been ambitious and outspoken against injustice. Gabby Thomas has never shied away from using her platform for more than medals. The American sprint star, celebrated for her dazzling performances in the 200m, recently sparked waves across the track and field community with her unflinching stance on what she called the biggest issue facing our sport. Her words drew both applause and criticism, but the narrative shifted dramatically when a veteran Olympian stepped forward, not to silence her, but to stand firmly in her corner. Thomas's comments were bold. Speaking after a Diamond League appearance, she stressed that the sport was losing its soul due to inconsistent policies, lack of athlete protections, and a growing disconnect between governing bodies and competitors. We put our bodies, careers, and dreams on the line, she said. But the system doesn't always put us first. For some, it was a risky move, the kind of candid critique that could ruffle feathers among officials. For others, it was a refreshing truth spoken by an athlete unafraid of consequences. What surprised many was who backed her up. A veteran Olympian, someone who once stood on the podium draped in national pride, publicly voiced support for Thomas, validating her concerns with a dose of lived experience. Gabby is right, the Olympian said. These problems aren't new. We dealt with them years ago, but it takes voices like hers, strong and current, to finally get real change. That endorsement shifted the conversation. Instead of dismissing Thomas as outspoken, many began to view her as a torchbearer for progress. The respect of a decorated figure gave her message more gravity, bridging generations of athletes who have quietly fought the same battles. For Thomas, the support was more than personal validation. It was a sign that she wasn't alone. To hear that from someone who's been there, who's walked this road before me, means everything, she admitted. It shows that this fight is bigger than just me or this moment. It's about the future of our sport. Fans rallied online praising the unity between past and present champions. Hashtags celebrating Thomas' courage trended, with many pointing out that track and field has often lacked athlete-driven leadership in shaping its policies. This is the kind of advocacy we need. One fan wrote, "Our stars, speaking truth and legends standing behind them." Of course, not everyone was convinced. Some critics argue that athletes should focus on performance rather than politics. Yet, Thomas' record, Olympic medals, world-class times, and a reputation for clutch performances made it clear she could do both. She was proving that greatness on the track and advocacy off it are not mutually exclusive. As the season builds toward the next championship stage, Thomas finds herself not just a contender for medals, but a leader in shaping the future of track and field. With a veteran's voice echoing her own, she has momentum both in her stride and in her course. And in a sport where legacy often lives in timestamps and podium photos, Thomas is writing one that extends far beyond the stopwatch. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share.